After the laughter and applause have died away, theatres can seem to be haunted by a particular sort of melancholy emptiness. And over, say, 100 years, many thousands of transient emotions can imbue the building with a pervasive sense of loss. No wonder theatres are notorious for their ghosts. Every theatre has a ghost or two, and I've seen a couple. Well, I've seen one and I've perceived another. Hello, I'm Peter John Cooper. Welcome to my 10-minute tales. Today's story is called Not So Scary Ghosts. Yes. The first ghost I saw is easy to dismiss as some sort of hallucination. I was alone in the building after everyone had gone home. And this is the actual theatre. It's the Lyceum Theatre Crew. Done up a bit now since my time. It was about midnight. It had been a long day and I was very tired. I was assistant director at the time, so it fell to me to lock up. I had finished checking the stage and the backstage areas, and the rest of my routine was to walk through the auditorium, stalls, dress circle and gods. The upper circle, known as the gods because it was nearer to heaven, was seldom used as audience numbers had declined in recent years. But I still had to go up there in case a member of staff had crept up for a crafty fag and had dropped a cigarette end or lighted match. These were the days before a complete smoking ban, so cigarette ends were the feared enemy. To this end, I would do all this in darkness so that I could see any little glow more quickly. I did have a torch, however, because it was extremely easy to fall down the worn exit stairs and break your neck, and I didn't feel ready to add to the ghost count yet. The place was black. Theatres can be very black, deliberately so. My torch picked out occasional flashes of the ornate gold Victorian decoration, but otherwise it was complete, enveloping darkness. I'd reached the back of the gods, which is a very spooky place in itself. There was always an unpleasant chill. The wardrobe mistress held that her dog would never go up there, but would stand on the stairs, hackles raised, growling. I was, to say the least, a bit spooked. I was going to stay there as little time as possible. I flashed my torch around like a mini lighthouse, and I was just turning to scarper when the beam caught a figure standing in one of the boxes. Probably this one, I think. Now, I knew the building was empty because I'd locked and bolted all the dressing rooms and backstage areas as I went, and I just walked past that box on my way up the stairs. The figure was wearing Elizabethan costume, doublet and hose in black and white striped material. Very right and proper for a theatre ghost, but not what you'd expect your average burglar to be wearing. So I had to conclude it was the spectral type of manifestation rather than some local villain rifling through the wardrobe store. He looked across at me as if apologetic at startling me. I could see him quite clearly in the torch beam. But despite his unthreatening, quite prosaic mien, I suddenly shivered, and the torch wavered for a moment. When I got my beam back on the spot, he was gone. Apart from that shiver, I'd never felt scared. And, well, I never thought to tell anyone. It was just me and a ghost in a theatre. Nothing out of the ordinary at all. The other ghost was somewhat different. The fact is, I never actually saw it. Nobody did. But it was there all the same. Every fortnight throughout the season, one play would finish on a Saturday night and a new one would open on the following Tuesday. To allow time for technical and dress rehearsals on Monday, we would all have to work all night after the show on Saturday and through Sunday, stripping out the old set, painting the floor and flying scenery. The Saturday night all-nighter was something of an institution in the theatre world. Grueling work, but a lot of silly fun in the sort of way that end of term was when you were at school. Not so much health and safety demanding proper rest breaks and so on. But come about 4 o'clock in the morning and everyone would be dead on their feet. You know that feeling when your feet seem to be blocks of lead and aching with a dull, tired numbness. Fit-up feet, we called it. And whilst we were still all locked in our own tasks, wincing at our fit-up feet and dreaming of a break, someone would sniff and say, "Who's that cooking breakfast?" Maybe some kind soul had crept in to provide us with sustenance, so we dispatch an ASM off to the green room kitchen, and a bit later they'd come back and say, "There's no one else here. It's all dark." Well, you might say it was a product of overworked imaginations, dreaming of breakfast. We were tired. But it was a regular thing. Every all-nighter, same sort of time, frying bacon. So you're thinking, well, mass hallucination, wishful thinking, except for the Jewish vegetarians. And different people smelled it each time. And everyone smelt it at one time or another. Go back and talk to them. They'll confirm it. And I presume it continues to this day. Despite the fresh coats of paint and gilding on the cherubs. I'd like to post a picture as some sort of visual aid here, but there wasn't anything to see, and I can't find a site on the internet where I can download odours, so you'll have to use your imagination. Drains were always a problem in those old buildings, and they could sometimes produce unexpected miasmas. But we spent a lot of time looking and sniffing, and we couldn't find anything. Still, frying bacon, it's not exactly the sulphur of hell. We got quite attached to it in the end, gave it a name. Oh, there's Charlie making breakfast again, we'd say. It wasn't frightening. And then someone discovered that the theatre was built on the site of an old monastery where two of the monks came to blows over the breakfast porridge. The struggle resulted in one of the brothers falling or being pushed onto the kitchen fire. The stench of the body charring lingered for all the years until they demolished it and built a theatre in its place. No, sorry, nothing like that. This Victorian part of the town was built on open fields. No monks, no monastery. And then, first thing on Sunday morning, we'd all lumber out, blinking into the dawn, and assemble in a local cafe, opened specially to offer us real fried bacon butties. And we'd think nothing more about Charlie until the next fit-up Saturday. Spooky? Not really. All I can say is that ghosts, if there are such things, take many forms. Perhaps we are surrounded by them and perhaps we don't recognise them because of their sheer ordinariness. Well, thanks for watching this 10-minute tale. Please share it with your friends if you liked it, and watch out for the next one. Same time, next week.